Hey, it's Chrissy and Amanda.
Two girls from Saskatchewan, Canada, living the Reiki life while working the 9 to 5.
Hey guys, welcome to Living the Reiki Life podcast. You're here with Christy.
And Amanda.
And this is episode 30. And we have a really exciting topic to talk about. I can't wait to dive in. It's all about tarot and oracle cards. So we have lots of stories to share and some tips to share and to get into like the origin of tarot and oracle, which is actually pretty interesting. But before we dive into our episode today, we're here with a special guest that we wanted to share with you.
Yeah, we have Rashel here. She is with Building Stories, and she does residential drafting and design, and it's all very environmentally friendly. So she is totally with her vibe. She is located in Saskatoon, and she is just going to tell you a little bit more about what she's offering. Hi, Rashel.
Hi. Hello, my name is Rashel, and I'm the owner-designer of Building Stories Residential Design, Drafting, and Consulting. Building Stories is a Métis-owned company dedicated to creating unique and sustainable homes. Building science, low toxins, passive designs, and sustainable landscape practices are key components to our design process. We value minimal environmental impact and aim to reflect each customer's individuality in our designs. I continually learn about new products and techniques to create healthier living spaces. I am an architectural technologist, civil engineering technologist, and Class 3 building official with 18 years experience in residential construction and design. I'm a lead green associate and passive house trained. I'm also a spiritual being, and I believe that we need to work with Mother Nature. Our living environments need to be a place of positive energy, fun, relaxation, and healing. I recently enrolled in a feng shui course, which I'm looking forward to getting my certification. I offer designs for anything residential, from new homes to cabins, decks, and basement developments, Saskatchewan-wide. As a trained building official who has 16 years experience working with the City of Saskatoon and numerous permitted projects throughout the province, I understand each municipality has their own set of zoning regulations and bylaws in addition to the National Building Code of Canada. I can help you navigate the permit and inspection process as well as do the design work. Each customer is unique in personality and needs. My passion is to reflect that in their designs. I want to design something that elevates their lives while reducing the ecological footprint. It's a balance of science, innovation, intuition, and spirituality. I look forward to future projects.
That is awesome, Rashel. This is like the new wave of how building and design is going to be. Working with Mother Nature. This is it. This is the direction we're going. And it's totally going to help uplift the whole world by taking on, if everyone took on this stance when they're building.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm super passionate about it. I love the designs that I've done, and I really look forward to the ones in the future. It's so fun.
Yes, and when you have like your heart and soul into something, that is like when the magic happens too. And just like how much we love Mother Earth and working with her, I never even thought to bring that into when you're wanting to like build a house or like do something different, like with a deck. Like there's so many different things that the average person wouldn't even think about. And to connect with Mother Earth and bring that in, I think that is just so special. And with your intuition and you're so connected to your heart, I don't know. I just love this business so much.
Thanks, guys.
And where can people find you? You're on Instagram and you have a website.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I have a website. I'm also on Facebook. And so perhaps we could add some links in the podcast notes.
For sure. Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Rashel.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So, Amanda, what's going on with you?
So I had 2 days off this like past week. So this would be like kind of when we're recording this, it would be the end of June. And I had 2 full days of complete self-care. So I had a quantum healing hypnosis session done. So that is a kind of a specific kind of hypnosis. It's the Dolores Cannon method. So she really takes you into that really deep state of hypnosis, and you can access like past lives. So that's what I wanted to do. When I had my birth chart read, she told me that what would it be? That I am incarnated again from my last past life, who I was like an indigenous medicine woman. And I've come to the exact same spot again so I could have another go at it. And I knew that I channel her when I do Reiki because she's come through and I just feel like she's almost moving my hands and stuff like that sometimes and really taking the energy where it needs to go. So I really wanted to tap into her and find out more and just see if I could get more information on kind of how she heals and all of that so I could bring that forth into the now. So that was a really, really good session. And it was from 10 a.m. to 3. And so for the first 2 hours, you're actually just me and the practitioner just chatting. She's asking me all about myself and developing a rapport, good trust so my subconscious can relax. And yeah, it was a really full day of pretty well like crying all day. So that was kind of like emotionally exhausting, but really good. Obviously, I really needed the release. And Michelle, she's with that Sovereign YXE. She is amazing. So I wanted to go to somebody that was local. So I went to her house and she hosted me and it was great. It was such a good day and I had a lot of takeaway. And then she's going to be sending me the recording right away here and I can't wait to like listen to it again. Yeah.
That's
super,
awesome.
Yeah, super neat.
Yeah. I was wondering because I remember you said it was a full day. So how long did it take her to actually like put you in the hypnotic or like the hypnosis?
We started, I think it was about 12, maybe.
Oh, okay.
When I laid down and she got everything set up and went in. Yeah.
Wow.
And the other neat thing, so when I meditate, like I'll see colors and stuff in my third eye. And I will too when like people are on my Reiki room, but maybe not as often. When she was putting me under the hypnosis and like talking me through, these colors were so loud and vibrant. Like something, oh my God, it was almost like I was on acid. Like it was so loud. I couldn't even concentrate on the visual that she was giving me because I thought, oh my God. And then there was one point I thought, holy shit, like she's going to talk. She's asking you a question soon. Like you need to like pay attention. Yeah. Yeah, it was wild. So it was really neat. Like her really getting me into that deep, I think it's that theta state, isn't it?
Yes, that sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fascinating. Because I've read like Dolores Cannon books and about she doesn't really talk about putting people into the hypnotic state. She talks about like the questions she's asking them and all that. And I just love it. It's so, so interesting. That's definitely on my list of stuff I want to do. I want to go one of those
I'm
sessions.
a huge Dolores Cannon kick right now. And I think I want to start into hypnosis as well. Really going into that deep, maybe even try to mix that with Reiki somehow. So it was good. It was good to have a session for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
What's going on with you?
Well, I have a huge announcement. It's something I've been working on for a really long time, and my perfectionism has gotten in the way of me releasing this new offering. I think I've gone over this course, like, I don't even know how many times, probably half a dozen times, trying to learn everything, perfect everything. And it was just to the point where it's like, you just need to do it. I think a lot of these things is you will learn as you go. So I decided to open my books for Akashic record readings. So it's something I've always been really passionate about. Like I've read my own records and I've practiced on reading other people's records, but to finally put it available to like book a session and make it like official has been super exciting. And I do have it available on my booking site, so you can read more about what an Akashic reading would all entail.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So check it out, or if you have any questions, shoot me a message. If something if you've heard the word Akashic before and you've always been fascinated by it, but you're not sure why, I feel like that is kind of a calling to the records. Like there's something there that you may want to look at. I don't know. It's like crazy because Akashic records, they cover so many different things. Like it's just like from past lives to vows to clearing contracts to finding your gifts to finding your starseed origin. Like there's so many little nuggets that you can find out about your soul, and it can make sense in your life, and you can be like, oh, that's the reason I do things this way, or that's why I think about this, or that's the reason I attract those people into my life, or that's the way I react because it's from a past life. Scarcity. Like I could go on and on about the different scenarios and just the healing and the intention within the records. And it's just, it's magical. I can't even really explain it. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're going to do an episode on the Akashics as well to give people more information.
Yeah, I would love that. We definitely got to do that.
And how we tie that in even with our Reiki practice and everything. So,
yeah, that's right.
Just like we do with like the tarot and the oracles. We're talking about this today because we really tie this in with our Reiki practice as well. So we just wanted to share how we kind of do it. And if anyone's trying to get into cards as well, we're definitely going to cover all those grounds. It's just personally what we do.
Yes. Yeah. Let's get into it. So we were going to start out with talking about like how we actually got into reading cards. So I don't really have like a profound moment like I'm going to read cards. Like, do you have anything that you can think of that where you were like, okay, I'm going to do this?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, so Rhonda was on our podcast pretty early when we started this, and she's the one who got me reading cards. So what first happened is, I can't remember if I was gifted a deck first. My friend bought a deck and wanted to play with it and gave it to me. So that's like a whole myth about how you should be gifted a deck. And I don't know if I don't really believe that. I don't think you have to be. I think if you're interested, that's enough, and you should just go and buy one. What do you think about that?
I think so too. And it's funny, I Googled it because I was like, is there like a story behind this, like an origin? And I couldn't find anything. I just think I think it's just a myth. So don't ever let that hold you back. You go and buy your own deck.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yes. Yeah. So I went for a reading with Rhonda, and when I was getting my cards read by her, she said to me, you need to start reading cards. And I was like, what? She's like, yes, we need to practice right now. And I was like, what? So we literally like kind of stopped the session, and Rhonda is like, she was kind of new, I guess, at that time too. And she was so generous with her time. I'm sure she's a lot busier now, but so we sat there and literally practiced reading cards together. And she taught me how to like tune in to my deck and how to get really personal with each card that is in the deck. And we can go through that as well, like what we do. And that's how I got started. And then I was doing practice readings, started off doing readings for friends and like pretty much anyone who would let me. I'd pull a card for myself every day. And then, just kind of developed. Oh, I also started like really crushing people on YouTube. Watching people read cards was massive. And that's how I really got into like knowing the cards, especially tarot. Yeah.
Right. Yes, I remember that. I remember you doing a reading for me. I forgot all about that. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Christy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it seems like so long ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's funny when I look back at it, I remember just thinking I need a deck of cards. And I was like, where should I buy some cards? And Rhonda was the inspiration for starting to read cards, because I've gone to her for readings and I was like, man, this is like so interesting. I just love it. Like I love the pictures on the cards. Like she uses a lot of angel cards, and like the messages were so gentle. Like it wasn't anything scary. And I was really drawn to it. And I remember going on to Facebook Marketplace, and I actually bought 3 decks of cards and a book, like secondhand. Oh. And and I know it's funny, like looking back, I was like, did I even know how to clear them properly? Probably not. I just opened them and started reading them. And it's funny, those 3 decks I've never been able to connect with. They're sitting, they're not even on my shelf. They're actually sitting in a box somewhere because I can't connect to them. I've never had that relationship, I guess, that I have with other sets of cards. So maybe they do need to be cleared, but I don't know. I still don't think I would connect with them, but they were fun to like flip through, and you go in the guidebook and you kind of learn about each card. I was picking a card each day and just kind of reading through it, and yeah, it was still fun. It was a fun way to start practicing.
Yeah, for sure
Yeah.
it is. Just get started.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
was your first deck the one that was gifted then?
Yes, I'm trying to think if that's how it went. For some reason, I can't remember. I think it was. So my friend Marla bought me the Psychic Tarot deck, and I didn't even realize that they're tarot cards because they just have an image on them with like something written on the bottom. So it was like the best way to actually get into tarot. It wasn't like
Yeah.
quite a while later that I realized like, oh, the red borders are wands, and then the blue ones are, or the blue ones are wands and the red are pentacles. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
and I got really a lot more into tarot cards. So it was a really, really good first starting out deck.
yeah.
Highly recommend. And it's still my favorite, actually. It's what I'm going to use for our card pull today.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's awesome.
Hmm.
A real OG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. It's like the ends are all faded, but they're still like, yeah, they're just solid. I connected this deck so much. That is so important. And
It
then
is.
after, when I was training with Rhonda, I went and picked up an Oracle deck. They're crystal cards by Colette Baron Reed, I believe. And there's nothing written on these cards. So I was like, oh my God, what? Which was actually really good now in hindsight, because it really taught me how to use my intuition. Because Rhonda was pretty much like, hey, like take the guidebook and put it to the side. You're never going to reference this. And I was like, okay. And we just went through like the cards. I'd pull cards and I would have to like look at it and like, what comes to my mind? What am I noticing here? And then just pull cards from that. And that was actually the best practice too, because it kind of took away the security blanket.
Yes.
Rhonda's like, your guides are being really quite harsh with you, not even giving you any hints on your decks. And I was like, oh my God. But yeah, it was really good. And I still use that before every Reiki session. I pull crystal cards for people and I read them.
Yeah, I really like that deck too. And I remember when you would use it with our sessions, you'd be like, see, there's like a face here, and then this color means that. And like you created your own guidebook by practicing with them. And I think that is super important to follow your own intuition, not like pull a card and right away look in the guidebook. Okay, what does this mean? I think it's important to like look at the card and be like, okay, what feeling am I getting? Like, what's going on, like kind of dive into that type of thing. I guess we could get into that at the end when we talk about tips about reading, but yeah, that's a great way to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And you know, when you get a deck of cards too, it's really important to just look at every card.
Yeah.
And I know Rhonda taught me it's like look at the card and then you like almost pass it over your heart chakra. It's like you're really connecting into the deck. And I think that's pretty cool, especially with oracle cards, I find, because you're going to give them their own meaning. Like when I see a certain card, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is my card for travel. Are you traveling? I don't know why I thought about it once when I saw it. And now it just always makes me think of travel. Doesn't even
Yeah.
matter who the person is. So I think that's really important too, just kind of see like what's coming through. And then it might change for every client or it might kind of stay the same, but
Yes, just having your own guidebook, because I remember somebody saying, oh, I can't remember, it was a podcast I listened to, and the guy was talking about why he didn't like oracle cards. And he said that he thought that oracle cards were portrayed through the eyes of the person that made them. So I guess it is kind of true. Like that's how the person views the world in a way, like through their artwork and the messages they write in the guidebook. So that's another good reason to kind of use your own guidebook, because what travel means to you could mean different to me. So yeah, cards can have so many different meanings, and there really shouldn't be any rules to reading oracle. I think you should just always go with what you feel first when you see that card, and don't second guess yourself. I've done that where I'll be like, oh, I feel this. And then I'll read the guidebook and it's nothing to do with what I felt. And then I doubt myself. And it's like, no, I need to listen to what I feel and what my guides are telling me, not what the little message is written at the bottom.
yes, I agree with that too. 100%. And, I think I only really referenced the guidebook. Well, maybe I did a little in the beginning with that crystal cards because I was kind of more curious, like, well, this is what I think, but what does the book say? But remember when I kept pulling that card release
Oh, yeah.
for my angel deck? Finally, because I kept pulling it, I finally dug out the guidebook and I was like, all right, what does it say in here? I'm obviously missing something. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And it was kind of like a releasing, like cutting cords kind of a message. And I think there was something else in there that I actually thought was pretty interesting. So in that case, too, because I kept pulling this damn card, like 5 times, it was like haunting me. So I was glad to have the reference book. I don't throw them away ever. I like to keep them all together,
Yeah.
but I was glad to have it in that case for sure.
Yeah, because sometimes cards will have a deeper meaning too, or yeah, we can have a blind spot or just really want to know what that card means from the author of the cards. But so you haven't pulled that card since it's gone?
I actually think I have,
Oh my God.
but it's like it's not constant, so it's okay.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, yeah, too funny. Okay, so let's get into talking about Oracle decks and getting a little bit more information, especially if that's something you want to work with, or if you have a deck and you haven't really opened it up. Christy, what did you find about that?
Yeah, I did a deep dive on some researching and like read some articles, and it was kind of hard to find the origin of the Oracle. And I did come across an amazing article. It's by Sanjita Verma, and her business is Journey Essence Movement. I wanted to note her because I got a lot of information from her website. And this was actually really interesting. I never knew this is where it all started. So I'll share the story with you. The origin of the oracle cards go back in time where the cards themselves were not in existence, but the oracles were. So in ancient Greece, the term oracle held a significant meaning for the people. The word oracle was symbolic of God, the One, and they predicted the future and also synonymous with the Greek god Apollo. He was the Greek god of light, knowledge, and harmony. In those days, people often visited the temple in search of guidance and help. At the temple, they would receive guidance and directions from a human representative, a priest or priestess. So the term oracle carries varying meanings that are all interconnected. So for example, oracle may mean a place within the temple in ancient Greece. At the same time, oracle may also refer to the high priest or priestess whom people would consult at the oracle as the oracle. So alternately, the prophetic message given by the priest or priestess was also known as the oracle. So yeah, that's interesting. The ancient Greeks believed that man could communicate with God at certain times, at specific places, and through certain gifted persons or mediums or oracles. The oracles were few in number. Mostly one oracle served at one temple. It was the sanctum within the temple, a high mound where the priest or priestess often would be seated. So one such example is the famous oracle of Delphi in Greece. Pythia, I hope I'm saying that right, was the name given to the high priestess there. She served as an oracle at the temple of Apollo, also known as the oracle of Delphi. It is believed that she was a messenger of Apollo, through whom predictions and messages were passed on to the seekers. So it's interesting, it goes all the way back to ancient Greece. I found that really fascinating. And the responsibility of the oracle or the priest or priestess was to primarily help the person visiting them develop a connection with God. The oracle was an anchor that connected the visitor to the divine. In this way, the seeker received the messages that he or she was meant to receive at that time and place in their life. In a way, the oracles did the combined work of the modern day, like life coach, counselor, and psychic. So it's interesting that even back then, people were visiting someone else when they kind of felt lost in life, or they wanted some answers that they didn't know where to seek or find these answers. So they held these or went to these people for the answers. And that's what's happening in modern day, right? With now the Oracle card. And originating in Western Europe, primarily in France during the 19th century, Lenormand, I'm not good with names or pronunciation. The Lenormand cards were the pioneers in print of the Oracle cards. So soon the illustrative Lenormand cards came to be practiced and used as a form of a divination tool. And these cards were used for psychic readings and spiritual guidance. And oracle cards soon became popular, similar to the already existing tarot cards. So I guess tarot cards came first. And today there is like a wide variety of oracle cards out there. Like if you think of anything that an oracle card could be, like any kind of theme, it's already been done. Like there's dragons, there's fairies, there's crystals, there's nature, like anything there. Like it's pretty neat how many different possibilities there are. And so unlike tarot, which often comprises of the 78 cards, the 22 minor and the 56 major arcana, the number of cards in the oracle deck can be any number. And the number of cards in an oracle deck can range from as less as 10 or as much as like 44 or 78. There could even be 100. I guess there's like no rhyme or reason. It just depends like on the designer and the artist of the cards and like the number, the theme. Because I know some of them go into like the numerology on cards as well. And yeah, the cards can differ in shape or pattern or theme. Just like I said, like the possibilities are endless. And it's important to know that oracle card readings are equally accurate and powerful if one compares them to tarot card readings. I agree with that. And although the two are very, very different in a reading pattern, because tarot is very, like, each card means something different, but then there's also different ways you can interpret tarot cards and all of that. But yeah, so that was the research I found on the oracle cards, and I thought that was really interesting. I honestly didn't know that's where it all started.
Yeah, because you think about when people were actually assigned as an oracle, and they would give a reading for like, I even read this in a Dolores Cannon book. She regressed somebody back to where they lived as an oracle.
Cool.
So in that ancient Greece time. And like the king would come and if he liked the information that he got, then he would pay. And if not, like wouldn't.
Oh,
So I find it super interesting. And then I always think of like that movie 300, when they have the oracle and they can just predict stuff. And it's like a special chosen thing. Very high regard, I think, to be chosen as an oracle.
Yes, and it's not like you were the witch or seen like evil, like, that part of history. It's like you were actually looked at as someone value in society. Like, yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, and I love Greek mythology. Super cool that all ties in. Because that kind of also, well, astrology really ties in with like tarot and stuff. So it's so interesting.
It is. Yeah, I've enjoyed researching that and reading about it.
Hey, awesome. Should we get into the tarot side now?
Yeah, let's do tarot.
Okay, so tarot started in the early 1400s in Italy and France, but it wasn't until about the 1800s that the cards were actually used for like a divination tool. So the images on the tarot deck reflect like the medieval and Renaissance European cultures from which they emerged. So a traditional tarot deck has 78 cards, like Christy mentioned, and it's 22 major arcana. I think you got those backwards, Christy, and 56 minor arcana. So there's 4 suits, there's swords, pentacles, wands, and cups. And the major arcana starts at 0, so starts at the Fool, and goes all the way up to 22. And all the time it's telling a story. So it's about the fool taking that first leap, and then it's like the major life events that are going to happen to you along the way. And then there's subsuits, so to speak. So the minor arcana are like sub things that are going to happen to the fool while he's taking along his journey. So each suit consists of 14 cards. So the one, the ace, all the way up to the king. And the major arcana represents the astrology and tarot as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So like everything is connected. So when you look up, well, even when we give the astrology update, actually, and we say like, yeah, it's Cancer season, and Cancer actually represents the Chariot, and in the tarot deck, like all the major arcana represents like an astrology sign. And okay, so let's get into the suits. So first off, we have the cups, which would be the element of water. So usually represents like our emotions and our relationships. If you pull a lot of water cards, usually, or cups, I should say, usually you're dealing with like feelings of the heart or a lot of love and emotional affairs or even relationships in general. So cups is also the season of autumn and the direction of west. And if you're trying to get like a timeline answer, cups is actually represents months. So I don't know if people realize that too. So if you're asking for like a season or anything like that, and if you really want to narrow it down, you can always see what the number is on the card and then notice how the time frame on that as well. So next up we have pentacles. So that's the element of earth, and it's about property and achievement. Usually when I see this card, it usually deals with like finances and careers or things you want to achieve, and money as well, security and jobs. Pentacles is also the slowest moving suit. It represents years, the season of winter and the direction of north. And then we have swords, which is the element of air. So if you pull a lot of swords, it usually has to deal with communication and thinking, all about kind of getting through your head and using your head. This is the fastest moving suit, representing weeks, or I shouldn't say the fastest, but one of the fastest, representing weeks and the season of spring and the direction of east. Wands, this one is the fastest element here. Element of fire and passion. This is creativity, manifesting, and intuition, and just new ideas. And this is the season of summer and the direction of south. And again, this one represents days. So I just wanted to kind of go into the court cards of the minor arcana because I always found these kind of tricky when I was reading tarot cards. And so I just wanted to give a quick run through of them. So the king, if you pull the king, usually can represent like a mature older male. The queen would be a mature older female or maternal. And then you have knights. Knights are immature men and women who are rash in their actions and tend to pursue their own desires and interests at the expense of others. So kind of, yeah, that immaturity. Knights can indicate change and movement in a new direction. And then you have pages. Pages used to always trip me up. So pages refer to children or young teenagers of either gender, doesn't matter, and represent youthful potential. So like dreams or other characteristics that are hard to define. So the qualities they embody are delicate and need to be nurtured if they are to develop. So you'll also see like pages are kind of like the start of something. And pages are messengers and indicate that news of some kind will be received in due course. So I really wanted to just hit those home with the different suits. And yeah, I think that hits all the major points of the tarot. And then also when you're reading tarot, there are people who read cards in the upright and in the reverse. And so if you're ever seeing that, well, it's kind of like the opposite. Like if you're getting the Ace of Swords upright as opposed to the Ace of Swords and the reverse, it can kind of mean, oh, maybe there's a delay or you're still in between this new thing that's coming in. So I know a lot of people when they start, they don't even like to do reversals, and I totally get that. There's enough kind of, not bad cards, but doom and gloom cards, if you will, in the deck already. And I'm sure, too, if you're reading intuitively, you're going to know if that is supposed to be like reversed or not. But yeah, definitely take that as you want.
Yeah, with the reversals, that's interesting because even some of my oracle decks, they have reversal meanings in them. And
Oh,
honestly, I don't follow it. I always keep them upright, and I've never like mixed them up to look at the other message. But yeah, that was really interesting. Thanks, Amanda. I didn't know it represented the seasons and then like the timelines, like with the months and the weeks, and that's super interesting.
hmm. And like people used to play, well, like tarot as a game as well. Like it started off as like playing cards until it like slowly started becoming this divination tool. So yeah, super interesting too. And then I came across all these like old like German games and I was like, oh,
Oh.
yeah.
That is interesting. And it's funny, my husband, like we like playing cards, right? Like
Mhm.
oh, what's that one game? Can't
Crib.
even think of it. Yes, crib. Yeah. And it's weird, like even playing cards, I feel like they even have a mind of their own. I don't
Oh,
know. There's just
they
some
do. So the
yeah.
hearts would be cups. It's
Oh,
like the
okay.
same thing. And then you have the Jack, Queen, King. But
Oh,
it's
that's
funny
right.
how ace is like the start in tarot, and it's like we usually do ace at the end, right? King ace.
Yeah, the high card. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm almost wondering if that's wrong, quote unquote,
Yeah.
wrong. But hmm.
And with Oracle or Tarot cards, there are different card spreads you can do. Like there's so many different ones for this card means past, this one means present, future, like that type of thing. Or there's like the Celtic Cross. I know that's a famous one or like a popular one. And or even pulling a card for each month of the year. There's so many different things you can do. Is there any ones that you are like drawn to? Do you ever follow spreads?
So when I'm doing pulling cards before a Reiki session, I usually just shuffle out three cards. They don't mean they're not in any kind of past, present, or future. No, I just pull them and then it's like, okay, this is what we need to work on today. Like this is what's coming through. If I'm doing a card reading, I actually like to do like for a person who's a client, I guess. I like to pull, it's almost like what would it be? Like a 3 by 3. So I do three cards for past, three for future, and three for, wait, sorry. I like to do three for the past, three for the present, and three for the future. And then that gives a really good story. And then there's one for like the overall theme. And that is
Oh.
because I only do that because a lady I used to watch on tarot, her name, I think she goes by Soulful Revolution. That's how she would always pull her cards. And then she'd even pull like oracle decks to mix with tarot to kind of get more of a theme. But I find that actually really good. And then sometimes you're reading them left to right, all of a sudden, or other times you're reading them up and down. It's like, oh, this is the
Oh.
past, this is the present. It's just like you'll just kind of know. And I find that really good because then you have the heart of the reading too, that middle card. So I really like that one personally. I do a version of the Celtic Cross, but not very often. And I kind of changed things around to suit me. I kind of made it
Mhm.
my own. And I guess that's kind of it. Otherwise, I'm just like pulling the odd card or getting clarification. I'll usually shuffle cards and I always let my cards just fly out. That's how I do it. And they do. And they're always, so they'll come up in the reverse or upright. And then I'll always pull like clarifying cards if I need to, if I don't really understand the message. I'm like, can you clarify this one? And that's good too.
Yes, that's a really good point. That clarifying cards. I remember when somebody told me that. Maybe you did, or maybe it was Rhonda, and I was like, "Yeah, why don't I pull another card for more clarity? Because I don't even I don't I'm kind of stuck here." And yeah, with card spreads, honestly, I don't think I really follow any of them. I just go to my decks of cards and whichever ones I'm drawn to first, and I just start shuffling, and then I just pull cards, and then I kind of like I'll look at them, and then I get the story. Like you kind of just follow the story and see what's going on. Or sometimes I'll just pick one card at a time and then just listen to what the guides are saying and then just start writing and then go to the next card. So it's kind of like there's three different messages there. I don't know. I don't really like structure in my readings. I kind of like to just go with the flow and just see what happens.
Yeah. I think that's why I don't really like the Celtic cross. It's too structured.
Yeah. And you know what? I did take a card reading course. This was, quite a few years ago. And honestly, like looking back, I think learned more about reading cards by just practicing and doing it. Because what I learned in that course was just kind of like what you could read from the guidebook or something you could learn on watching YouTube videos. So I think there is a time and place for maybe taking a course. I think a tarot course would be helpful because there's so much to know, but the real learning is in the doing, I find.
Yeah, I agree. And then if I'm doing like a completely distant Reiki session, like usually like I'm doing that with children, right? I'm not communicating with them while I'm doing a session. And I'm kind of like unsure what's going on in one of the chakras, then I'll pull some cards there too. And they're in no real order, but I just want clarification. It's like me clarifying what I'm getting because I can't ask for feedback, right? And
Right.
so I just want to make sure that at least I'm on the right track, or at least stuff will make sense. And that I've actually started doing a lot more lately, and I really like it. I like incorporating that. It's just so I can kind of, my intention goes there and I can just get deeper into the Reiki, I guess.
Yeah, pulling cards during Reiki has been great too. I really enjoy it because you can, if you need that clarity or you need, to dive deeper, it's like having that little friend there to be like, hey, like, let's go down this path, let's explore this. And yeah, I find that Reiki and cards really complement each other.
And I love pulling them at the beginning. And every time I
Yeah.
do, I ask my client, like, does this resonate? And they'll always say yes. Yes. I'm like, okay, great. Or, at the odd time, they'll be like, I don't know. And then they'll be like, well, let's just Reiki and see what happens. They'll be like, oh, that's why that's here. That
Yes.
makes sense now. Yeah.
I
hmm
think that's happened with sessions you've done with me. Like you'll pull like the heart chakra or like the third eye, like with your crystal cards. And then I'll be like, oh, I don't know. And then we go into the session and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, yeah, third eye needs a lot of love right now. There's something going on. And then it all comes full circle.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's good. And how
Uh,
about clearing your decks? Do you clear them every time?
I'm lazy with it. I just knock them. That's all I
Good.
do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, me too. Yeah. I knock mine too. I don't like smudge them or
Yeah.
anything. No. I knock
No,
my energy in.
yeah, I find it's just kind of a ritual before you start. You just knock them. And I sometimes, if I'm using my tuning fork, I'll wave it over top. But no, I like the knocking the best.
Yes. And I'm
Yeah.
usually clearing my room and space. So like the cards are all getting it too, is what I figure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too.
And then I like to give them a charge every once in a while in the full moon. If you can do that with your cards as well. With your crystals, you can just shove everything in the window,
Yep.
give them a recharge.
Yeah. Or even put them on selenite. Like I have a nice flat piece of selenite. I can just place them on. And I remember even reading when I first got this one deck, to sleep with it beside or like put it on your nightstand. So like have it in your energy while you sleep. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't really notice a difference with that, but yeah, I really like getting to know each card like you talked about, like looking at it and waving it through your heart chakra. I think that's a really important practice to do when you first get that deck.
It's really funny. Like, 'cause they say that with crystals too, hey? Like, you should keep them on your pocket and like have them under your pillow because then it really absorbs your energy and it sinks into you and can really help you with what you need. And it's funny how tarot cards are kind of almost like similar, they say, in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like holding your vibration and getting to know each other and yeah, just
Mhm.
building that relationship.
Yeah, really
However,
interesting.
yeah, it feels right to you. Do you have any tips you'd want to share for like a new card reader?
Yeah. Get on YouTube and watch other people read cards. That's
Yep.
like, that is honest. Okay, so that Soulful Revolution, I know she does like a reading every morning. So I would like have
Oh,
my coffee and watch her read cards. And I loved it because I would always see if there was any takeaways for me or something kind of resonated. But I really liked her. I really like this girl. Her name is Sonia. She's with the The illest Illuminati, the illest illuminator, I think. Yeah, illest illuminator, not the Illuminati. And yeah, tarot time with Dana, she's also good. Yeah, there's lots. There's so many people out there reading cards online, and they have so many followers. So that is honestly the best way to start reading tarot. I mean, even when I started this, Rhonda's like, don't get into tarot. And I was like, oh, thank
Oh,
God. So it was just like angel cards were the easiest. They have a message at the bottom, and they just like, it's a good way to like guide in.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too. I remember I met one lady where she was really into the angels and like that type of thing. And she said that she was not meant to read tarot at all. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I guess that's like your perspective on things, but I don't know. I think you can be drawn to either one for different reasons. Like I don't personally, I do not like the structure of tarot. I don't want to take the time to learn the different suits and like the whole thing because that's a lot. Like to learn all of that.
It's a
I've
lot.
never yeah, like and I have a tarot book. I think I've started to read it like 3 different times and I just never finished it. I find it interesting, but for me to remember all that is like, no, I just want to pull a card and I just want to know what's going on. Like I think that's where I'm at. But maybe like down the road I would get into tarot, but right now I kind of enjoy like the oracle, like the fun part of it because I remember our episode with Janessa, how she said like she saw the difference between the tarot and the oracle where like tarot was like your honest friend that is going to be like, hey, this is what's going on. Like, what are you doing? Like your honest girlfriend. And then oracle's kind of like the fluffy one where it just kind of not sugarcoats things, but it's more, I don't know, not in like a positive light, but more.
It's gentle.
Yeah, it's gentle. There, that's the perfect word for it. But yeah, any tips that I would want to share for like a first time card reader is I would get into pulling one card every morning. I think that is a great way to learn your deck. Like depending if you wanted to read for other people or you're just doing it for fun for your own, like your own joy or whatever. But yeah, that's where I got to know my cards was just I'd pull a card and I'd sit with it. And then even if you have time, it's fun to journal like a couple things about what comes through. And then I started like, I make these card stands, well, I used to, and I would set that card out, like I wouldn't put it away right away. And then at night when the day was done, I'd go and look at the card and be like, oh, okay, that makes sense for that day. Something like that did happen. Or maybe it didn't. I don't know. It's just kind of a good like reflection tool, I think, to practice on. And I think just to have fun with it, like just don't take yourself too serious when you're starting to learn. And, you know, there's lots of good deals to order cards online and have them come to your doorstep. But there is something about like going to that bookstore, going to that crystal shop and supporting like your local shops rather than ordering on Amazon, you know? So I do find that kind of would be a fun thing. If I was to go and buy my first Oracle deck, I'd kind of like want to make a day of it, like go grab a coffee and kind of shop around the store and just pick out whatever deck calls to me. Because I've had times where I'd be like, okay, I'm going to the store, I'm getting this deck. But then I walk in there, it's like, ooh, but what's this one? What's that one? And you just kind of like how crystals can call to you. I think Oracle decks or tarot decks can call to you at different times in your life too. Because there's different ones for different meanings. Like, no.
I agree with like going to the store and feeling out the decks.
Yeah.
Like hold the deck in your hand and like kind of sit with it and be like, is this my deck?
Yeah.
I completely agree with that too. Yes. That's a very good point.
They hold an energy to them just like a crystal, like not to the extent of a crystal, like it's paper, like
Yeah,
it's not a
they really
rock,
do.
but yeah. So cool.
Any profound stories that stick out or any readings that you've had?
Yeah, you know, I was trying to think of one that was just like, wow, you know, like spot on. And I think my first reading was with Paulina. So if you're in Saskatoon, I'm sure you've heard about her. She's goes to the exhibition and the Fringe. I don't know, does she still do readings? I think she does.
So, yeah. I actually saw
Yeah.
her a couple of years ago
Oh,
at the
no
Fringe.
way. The
Yeah.
Fringe. Yeah, that was the last time I saw her was at the Fringe, but that was probably like, oh, that was when I met Troy, like probably 10 years ago. Was the
Mm.
last time I saw her. But those readings, like, I don't think anything super profound came through those readings. The readings that were oh, no, wait, I just thought of something. When I was practicing my mediumship, I met this one lady named Chloe, and she was practicing tarot. So we were swapping, like we were practicing on each other. And she pulled is it the Five of Swords? That's really like, or the Nine of Swords?
Well, yeah, like the Five of Swords isn't the best. All the fives kind of suck in tarot.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it was
Yeah.
that one. Because she told me, she's like, hey, there's a time coming up in your life where you're going to like get hit in the heart and it's going to freaking hurt and it's going to be intense. And I was thinking, hey, life is good. I was like, whatever, And then sure enough, a couple months later, something happened where I felt a lot of heartache. And it was like, it wasn't like something catastrophic, but it was something that caught me off guard where I was just like, ooh. And then I looked back and I was like, damn, Chloe was right. Like that was like so like specific.
I wonder, was it the Three of Hearts?
That was it. Yes.
Yeah.
'Cause
The
there
Three
was
of Hearts are the Three of Swords.
It was the heart, and then there's the three swords going
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to find it for you. Like,
Yes, it's that one. Oh my god, that one's gonna give me nightmares. Oh,
yeah, that usually does mean heartbreak
yeah,
or loss.
yes, and I got through it, but it was that was hard, and but yeah. But more on a positive note, I guess with Rhonda, her card readings have been phenomenal. Like Troy's even gone for them, and just certain insights that would come through. Like she told me there would be a time in my life where I'd have to make a decision and it'd be freaking hard. And I was like, oh, what? I was like, no, I already know what I want to do. But looking back on that journey to make that decision, she was damn right. Like it was hard. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I know exactly what you're referencing there
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, no, I had a really profound reading with Paulina too, actually. I went to her when I was really young and I was going through a breakup, and she told me exactly the next person I was going to meet, even like their height, their hair,
What?
like everything. It was really wild. Yeah. And she told me how many kids I'm going to have. Well, at the time it was 3, and holy, I hope that's not true. 'Cause I'm 38, and I've only had 1 so far, but I guess we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully that has shifted. And yeah, Rhonda definitely has given me some awesome readings. And I've given some really cool readings. Like when people are
Yes.
just like, yes, that is 100%, like, it's crazy. How is that? How do you know that? And
Yeah.
It's just like, honestly, it's like, it's not even me. It's like, I can't take the credit. It's the cards that just flip up. And it's,
Yep.
like, I can't know. But yeah, really, really interesting stuff. And I absolutely love it. It's so fun. And I mean, also you have to remember too, if you get a reading and then you leave wherever you are and you walk out the door, you have all this free will. So things can change too. You have to take the reading with a grain of salt, like anything else. If someone gives you a prediction and you're like, well, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen, then you're going to make sure it doesn't happen,
Yep.
you know? So you have to take that in mind too. Things can always shift. You could go left instead of right, and then you've just changed your whole trajectory. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't with a card reading as well, and don't stress about cards. A good reader will never tell you a bad message like someone's going to die
Yeah.
or so-and-so's cheating on you. Like I would really hope they don't ever say things like that to you, unless I guess you're just like, I'm pretty sure this is happening. But even then, I don't know if I'd be that comfortable. I'd probably skirt around and feed it a different way. But that's just me.
Yeah, and that's a really important message. Is like we always say, take what resonates and leave the rest. Because even I just thought of a message that Paulina told me. She told me I would marry a man in uniform. Isn't that funny?
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it was like at that time in my life, I was working in a building with a lot of people in uniforms, right? So it was like so fitting that I would see myself in that future. And I did have one, or I did date someone in uniform, but of course didn't turn out to anything. So that's just like an example that she saw that was a possible timeline for me. But of course I went another way and created a different timeline.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I guess Troy does wear a uniform, but not like an official one. But yeah, so it's so fascinating though, because I remember hearing that and just I wasn't like on the path of like I'm gonna have a husband and he's gonna be in uniform. Like, I wasn't like that tunnel vision. I like to after I get a reading. Yeah, this is actually a good tip for anyone. If you can't record the reading, I remember like getting in my car after being with Rhonda and just typing everything on a note on my phone, just when it's fresh in your mind, because you'll be like, oh, I'll remember it. But sometimes you don't remember those details. So just jotting it down and then just kind of like throwing it to the wind and just see what happens. I think that is like really good advice, not to like zone in and focus on that reading all the time, whether it's good or bad. I think it's just something to listen to and you can revisit it. And yeah.
Yeah. Should we get into our card reading for the episode? Or
Yeah.
did you have anything
Yeah.
else? Okay, sweet.
No, I think that was all.
Okay. Well, I'm using the OG deck today, the Psychic Tarot one that I absolutely love. Just feels. Oh, another thing I wanted to say, like some of these Oracle card decks can be pretty large and might be awkward. I find instead of shuffling them like a regular card deck, I kind of shuffle them like I hold them sideways and I shuffle them that way.
Oh,
Instead of
that's a
trying to
good
grab
way.
them lengthwise, I kind of do the width and then I shuffle them that way. That might help some people as well.
Yeah, because some cards are big,
Yeah, like
just
these
like
ones are
really
quite
awkward.
large, but I like the large deck. Yeah.
Yeah, and your cards like always fly out. Mine don't really. What I like to do is I like to spread them across my desk and then I just kind of go with whatever one I feel drawn to. Or I'll fan them out and then kind of just pick which one I'm drawn to. But it's personal, whatever you feel drawn to.
Okay. Okay, so I had 3 cards come out. Okay, so I pulled one Oracle card to give us a theme for the reading. Thought that'd be fun. And then I pulled the tarot for the rest to give us more insight into the deeper message. So for the Oracle deck, I pulled the card Mediumship. So you have the natural ability to connect with departed loved ones. Part of my angel deck.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so when I pulled the tarot, I got transformation, which is the death. So always when there's a death, there's always a rebirth. So this is a major arcana card. So this is a major shift happening or something big that's going to happen in your life that's really going to kind of change the path here. And I got the second one is the 2 of Pentacles. So at the bottom it says movement, choices, and decisions. And then I got the Ace of Wands, which is passion ignited. So that creativity. So I feel like somebody who's listening to this maybe has been thinking about exploring their mediumship path and they've been, I don't know, I see there's some obstacles. This was at the bottom of the deck. I always like to look at the bottom card of the deck as well. Always give that a look. It has some good information there. So I'm seeing that there's some obstacles here. It's a 5, those pesky 5s. It's a 5 of Wands. So I don't know if someone's just having a hard time getting started or they don't know if they should start, or I feel like you're almost getting in your own head about it, or you're almost worried about what other people are going to think, but you just need to go for it. Like you need to make a choice here. And when you do, it is going to light your soul on like fire in the best way. So you are going to feel so much joy, so much purpose by doing this because things are going to just sprout off. You're going to go through a whole transformation. Even, I'm seeing even like leveling up. If you just say yes, the doors will open And I see you just like walking up and allowing spirit to almost like guide you and take you. It's going to be you're going to feel like a whole new person. Even the things that you once enjoyed, you might not really enjoy them anymore because you're going to be almost in a whole new vibration by just saying yes to this. So take the leap and do it because this is your message to just do it. You're being called to do it. So start practicing your mediumship. And there's a great communities online that you can just start. And what's that one? Spirit School, I think it's called. They have a lot of free stuff on there and people
Yes.
love to practice. So if you want to just do that, and people are practicing too, so get started.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that message. That's super exciting for someone to be on the beginning of the mediumship journey. Yeah. And just freaking do it.
Yeah, it almost felt a little harsh at the it just felt really like get going, like this is it. Like you have a choice to make and like just do it.
Yeah, there's tarot for you. It's like, we're not going to sugarcoat this. Just like, get going. We got shit to do.
Yeah, it's totally it. Good.
Right on.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for listening. And you can follow us on Instagram, Living the Reiki Life. And that is exactly where I'm going to post these cards when the episode comes out. So if you want to actually have a look at them, because you're like, holy crap, that was for me. If you want to just take a look at these cards after, you definitely can. And we have our own personal pages. Go ahead, Christy, with yours.
Yeah, mine is called The Birch Soul. So I actually do offer card readings and I do Reiki, of course, and then my newly Akashic record. So yeah, check it out.
Woohoo! So exciting that you're doing your Akashics now. It's so about time. That's awesome.
Finally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I took the leap.
Yes, exactly. Right. You made a choice and your soul is on fire.
That's right.
And you can find me with Reiki with Manda on Instagram. And yeah, I'm offering Reiki in person or distant, of course, if you don't live in Saskatoon, and card readings as well, if anyone is interested. And if you come for Reiki, I love to pull cards as well when you're here. Yep. So just ask me and I definitely will. It's always fun to do. Just throw it in. So yeah, that is it. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, see you next time.
1, 2,